Hey, I'm Steven D'Onofrio, Philadelphia-based artist. I'm here in Dallas at Galleri Urbane for my solo show, The Florist. I think something that's remained consistent throughout my practice, or something that I'm now kind of reflecting on, because that's the type of thing that, after I finish a work, or like getting ready for a show, I'll kind of look back and say, are these things still there? What is still there from last year? What's still there from 5 years ago? And it's kind of a question that I keep asking myself, and like finding those motives that I'm into. But I think what's consistent is, at least now I'm reflecting on it, it's like pulling from a matrix is how I talk about it. It's like the pattern making and the repetition of forms that you see throughout my work, whether it's piles of fruit, leaves in a fruit tree, or now this kind of abundance of flowers and stems. I'm realizing like that is something I'm like really drawn to, that I like drawing and like making, kind of getting lost in that pattern. As far as like my memory serves, and except for like some really old work, the first time that I kind of lost that shallow background, shallow foreground composition that you see so often in still life paintings. And that was something I wanted to bring this idea to life for a minute now. Over 3 years I've been tinkering with it, and that was my biggest hang up. I couldn't find the right composition to explore the other themes that I like to explore. And it was that part of getting rid of the like, shallow foreground that I was so comfortable with and used to working with. But with this, I feel like it's still there, it's still serving as that kind of purpose with the shallow foreground background, but I feel to compress it a little bit more, tighten up the composition in this flower market stand where I'm able to now start to look colors and weave vines and flowers and things like that. Something that's not in these works that you mentioned is that kind of pop and commercial and funky elements that you would see in my other fruit trees, or even my piles, things I would say like lemon, or they would also be rendered to kind of look cartoony or something really hyper realistic. There's a slight pullback with that with these ones, because I just really wanted to focus on finding how to get the composition to work and making sure that that's successful, because I feel like if that's not successful, then these like little playful moments just become kind of cheap, or like more of like a knick-knack or a trick. But if you have a really strong composition, then I feel like it adds to it. So for the ones behind me, it kind of just shows a couple forms, roses or lilies, and then just went after a raw canvas, much more kind of like flow state, making mistakes, having them be there. And I chose different medium to kind of complement that way of working, which is why you'll see a looser airbrush, a looser kind of crayon, and to just get a little more loose and abstract with it to add to that idea of just like a messy floor that has some beauty. I think for the past 10 years, since like working with the gallery, the things that's kind of changed the most is just kind of getting focused on exploring like a certain idea and then following that through. Or like early on, you'd kind of just be chasing a lot of different ideas, and working with the gallery, especially for such a long period of time, like that professionalism that they bring kind of helps me get focused and says like, you can't chase every idea, you have to explore things, a couple ideas to the fullest, flesh it out, work with the gallery, and I think that's kind of helped me hone in my craft a lot.